Firstly, my apologies. This is not a quick video, it's not a short video, it's over 9 minutes long. But the reason that I have put it together is mainly due to several videos that have been appearing in social media. And this is really my take and my opinion, so please take it as you will, with a pinch of salt, or just simply as purely entertainment. My concern when watching videos of play with our dogs, we've actually forgotten how to have fun, and we're using it as a control mechanism. And this is not what play is about. Play should be reciprocal. It should be give and take. It should be working together, and we should have a willingness from the dog to want to interact with us. As you can see from the video, Rune is enjoying the game, I hope. And when I'm asking him to leave things or drop the item, as soon as he takes pressure off the item, I click for that. If the dog is clicker savvy, he will immediately release the toy fully. Then I can give him his cue to take the toy back. I don't use food for this, because ultimately play should be the strongest reinforcer, and also the focus and the willingness to play with each other. So if Rune, which is the collie's name, does not release the toy on the cue or does not release pressure, then immediately I drop the toy. I don't hold on to it. That's the consequence, because the good stuff, the reinforcement, should be that playing together, the enjoyment of playing together, the fun of playing together. Remember, games should be reciprocated, they should be passionate, they should be full of fun, but they should actually be sharing, and it's a sharing type of behaviour. The dog should not be taking the toy and then moving away with it. Sometimes we do have to call the dog back, but we shouldn't be calling the dog back. The dog should want to come back to us to continue that game. So this moment in time, I'm trying to see if Rune will play with the other item. It's absolutely not as valuable as the Kong, as you've noticed. So if he leaves the other toy, then he gets the Kong back, the Kong and the rope. But all it is about handling, touching, and that willingness to work with each other, that empathy that is shown. Teaching the dog self-control, so to be able to move back, to move away from the toy, again is just a taught behaviour, but it comes from playing together. We put too much control into games at times, I believe, and games should be entertaining for both parties. As soon as we put too much rules in it, the dog will move away from us, and it will continue to move away from us, and we have to assess that. Fun, 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 that's all I want to keep thinking about when I'm playing. And if the dog chooses not to bring the toy back to me, then there is something wrong with that game. It's not entertaining anymore for that dog to play with me and work with me. Handling is also an important part when playing. So just touching the dog along the side, either gently or pushing him away so he comes straight back into you. At the end of the game, then sometimes the dog will get to keep the toy, but also I'll ask the dog to off, which is my leave command, and then I'll multiple feed. So I might give 10, 15 bits of food to that dog at the end of it. I'll also tell him that's enough at times. Dog will then move away. I might even give him the toy back, because remember, it is the interaction between the handler and the dog that is reinforcing. The toy is just part of that. In the next video, this is Hodge. He's a 2.5-year-old terrier, highly aroused, and you will hear all the growling going on. So the type of playing is slightly more, I'm going to say, frantic and more involved with the dog. He's really into high energy games, mouthing, but again what we're trying to do is get him to target the toy and bringing it back to us. If I have an issue with the dog bringing a toy back to me during the play, I just simply either put a line on the dog or a line on the toy. Make sure the line is fitted to the dog's collar, because as you gently just bring the dog back in, or you gently give him a little tug on the line, then a harness would bring it back over his back. So bring him back, get him involved in the game, move the toy. So this is much more interactive, as in much more speeded up, this type of game. But we are then looking for complete impulse control when we ask him to off and leave the toy. Again, no food is used, it's the interaction. If you notice from the dog as well, he's very much into jumping up, but if I'm on the ground, I've got less chance of the dog jumping up, and that's also what happened with Rune in the last video. The other thing is that teaching the dog to target the toy, so although the hands are moving exceptionally fast, the dog should just be targeting the toy and not our hands. So Hodge is just doing a little cheeky move, moving around behind me just now. He's coming back round, and you'll start to see that he's getting exceptionally aroused. So at that moment in time, I don't walk away, everything just goes very, very quiet. So the same principle applies. If Hodge doesn't leave the toy when I give him the cue to off, then again I stop the game immediately. And it's only for a couple of seconds, 5 or 6 seconds, and that's very important. So I use a lot of just stopping and starting, and that's the consequences to having a failure in responding to that cue. So again, some impulse control here, just really getting the dog looking at the toy but being able to control himself, and then giving him the cue to take it, which is okay. He then grabs it, and this is at the point that we start to see some increase in the arousal levels, because I'm touching him now, very, very touch sensitive little dog. And immediately I stop because I feel his arousal starting to increase. So everything just goes still in calmness, and then you can see me moving, and again he starts to increase, so we go still again, and let everything settle, and you'll notice a complete difference in the dog, that he brings himself down and goes into a much more interactive state again, instead of that little freeze, and he runs round the back to try and stick his head in the treat pipe. So we get this little moving over, rolling in his back. We can turn that submissive. I like to look at it as a bit of empathy from both parties, because that's what games are about, and that's what interaction is about. It's empathy between those two parties, one party understanding how the other one feels. And at this moment, I'm considering that we need to stop the game. We need to bring everything back down to a level, do a short session. It has been a 4-minute session. So at this moment we're just testing him just to see if we can bring him back down again. But we do feel that he's getting quite excited. So he's managing to control himself again. It's all nice. Again, there's a little freeze there. So we stop the game because he's ignored that cue. Has a little sniff at the microphone, so we can see that the game is now over. The dog's made that choice, and he said, no, I'm fine Dad, I'm okay. So that's for a little bit of control, and we know we've got to finish it there, because he's no longer interested in the toy. So we stop it there, and we understand that we've maybe gone a bit too far and the game's been too long. So keep your games fun, interactive, for both parties. It's not a one-way street, it's not always about control, it's about fun, it's reciprocal, it's give and take, it's got empathy involved in it, all these things. As soon as we lose that, then the dog will decide to take the toy off and play by himself. And again, that's not interactive play, we've just gone too far.